This is Unit 4 review sheet. We're going to go over every single question, and hopefully it goes well. Number 1, what is the solution to the system graph below? Remember, a solution is right where the lines intersect, and that is 2, 3, right there. Number 2, solve for the solution using the substitution method. When they're both equal to y, we've been saying they're both equal to each other, but this is just like substitution. Since one is equal to y and the other one's equal to y, one is equal to a single variable, you could kind of substitute that 5x plus 10 in for the other y. Just like that. And then you just have to solve the equation, getting the smaller x over to the larger x. 10x minus 5x is 5x minus 20. Then remember, you have to solve and get the x alone. Now that the x's are on one side, this cancels and you have 5x equals 30. Then you divide by 5, and x equals 6. Once you're finished with the x, you have to get y, because remember, this is a solution. I'm going to pick the top equation just basically because I think it's a little bit easier. I'm going to substitute my x into where the x is in the equation. So y equals 5 times 6, which is 30, plus 10, and y equals 40. So I have y equals 40, I have x equals 6, and y equals 40. And that's the solution. That's where these two lines intersect. Find the slope and the y-intercept. This is number 3. And remember, anytime that you have to find the slope and the y-intercept, you're looking for the y equals mx plus b form of that line. You have to solve for y. So the first thing you do is subtract 8x on both sides. Remember that 40 and the minus 8x you cannot combine them because they're not like terms. So you just write them separately, just like that. Then you divide by 4 on both sides, and you get y equals negative 8 divided by 4. Negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2. Don't forget the x is next to it, so you got to bring that down. Then 40 divided by 4 is 10. So you have y equals negative 2x plus 10. Remember, the number before the x, the coefficient, is the slope, and the other number is the y-intercept. So the slope is negative 2, and the y-intercept is 10. Number 4 says solve the solution using the elimination method. This is already set up for elimination because, again, you have the negative 5y and the positive 5y canceling out, equaling to 0. 6x plus 3x is 9x, and then a negative 20 plus 2 is negative 18. Then you basically just solve for x. This is a one-step equation, and x equals negative 2. Once you get the x, again, you have to substitute, and I am going to pick the bottom equation, and it doesn't matter which equation you do that you pick, it's just that whatever you feel is easier. Plus 5y equals 2. So I'm going to substitute that x in for this x right here in for the x in the equation. So I have negative 6. Negative 6 plus 5y equals 2. Then you add 6 on both sides because remember, you're trying to get the y alone. So you have 5y equals 8. You divide by 5, and you have y equals 1.6. So you have negative 2, 1.6 as a solution. Number 5, using substitution. When using substitution to solve for this system, what is the result of the first step? So basically what I'm going to do is just going to circle here because this is the one that's equal to a single variable. So that one is equal to a single variable. So I'm just going to place that. Remember, this is y equals. So I'm just going to draw a little line right here, and that's where I'm going to substitute that y in. So it's going to be x plus 2, and instead of the y, I'm going to put 4x plus 3, and then equals 10. This is your answer. This is the result of the first step. So it's not going to ask you to go any further and actually solve. They just want the result of the first step that you would take, and that is the result. That is that. All right, number 6, right here, solve using the elimination method. Here's another one that is set up right there. Then you just add down 2x plus 5x is 7x. 9 plus 5 is 14. You divide by 7 on both sides. You get x equals 2. Then you substitute back in. I'm going to substitute and use that first equation to substitute back into. I'm going to substitute my x right there as 2 because that's what I solved for right here. Plus 5y equals 9. Then you have 4. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 5y equals 9. You have to solve for y, remember? So you have to subtract 4 on both sides. You have 5y equals 13. So it's not going to come out to be a, I'm sorry, 5y equals 9 minus 4, which is 5. And then you divide by 5, and y equals 1. And that's about it. And then you have, so the solution is x is 2, your x is 2, and the y is 1. So 2 comma 1 is where those lines intersect. So number 7 is just a series of questions. It's not going to look like this on the actual unit exam. Remember, this is all multiple choice, but write an equation that represents a linear function. Remember, linear is y equals mx plus b. So anything in that form that you give me is going to be a straight line. Write an equation that is nonlinear. Remember, it's not going to be y equals mx plus b. It's going to have an exponent next to the variable. Remember, the exponent has to be next to the variable. You could put x squared plus 1, y equals x squared plus 1, whatever, y equals x squared. That's fine. Write an equation of a direct variation. Remember, direct variation goes through 0, 0. So the b has to be 0. The y-intercept has to be 0. So a direct variation must be linear. So all you have to do is put y equals 4x, or something like this, y equals x. Number 8, solve the system algebraically. So they're just giving you, if you want to use substitution, if you want to use elimination. This is set up for elimination because 6x minus 6x equals 0. So remember, you cannot solve an equation with more than one variable. And then you just go add down. And you're going to get 45 for 21 plus 24, and 3y plus 12y is 15y. You divide by 15 on both sides, y equals 3. But that's not enough. Remember, you have to have a solution where these lines cross. So I'm going to use the first equation because that equation looks a little bit easier to me. I'm just going to rewrite it over here. And instead of y, I'm going to place the 3 that we solved, because we said y is 3, equals 21. So it's going to be 6x plus 9 equals 21. And u minus 9 on both sides. And you got 6x equals 12. You divide by 6 on both sides because you have to get that x. X equals 2. 2 comma 3 is your answer. Number 9, what is the solution to the system graph below? These are parallel lines. Parallel lines never meet. So if they never meet, there is no solution. They will never cross. There is no point that these two lines will intersect. So That's basically it. Every time, so this is number 10, anytime that they're asking for an equation of a linear function, they're just asking for the y equals mx plus b. Everything boils down to that. So you have to find two things. You have to find slope and you have to find y-intercept. The easiest thing to find right away is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is 1, and that's where it crosses the y-axis. Then you have to do rise over run. Pick another point that goes through the corner of a box. And remember, the way we taught you is put the number of jumps from this point to this point. That's 1. To this point, that's 2. So now you have a rise over run of 2 over 1. The equation in y equals mx plus b form is y equals 2x plus 1. To check, this is a positive slope because it goes up from left to right. And that is the equation. Number 11, solve the system algebraically. So there's nothing that cancels. X and x, they don't cancel, and y and negative 2y don't cancel. So you have to multiply something to make one of them cancel. So I'm going to multiply a negative 1 to make the x's cancel, because if I change this, if I do distributive property, this changes now to a negative x. This changes to a negative y, and this will stay 0. So I'm just going to rewrite it. Negative x minus y equals 0. So now I'm going to use the two equations right here and right here. So they see how the x's cancel? And negative 2y minus y is negative 3y. Just remember, use your calculator. It's 6. So you divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. And then you get y equals negative 2. All right, I'm going to use that first, that top equation. I'm just going to rewrite it. X plus y equals 0. That's a nice, easy, it's an equal sign. So, and you have x minus 2. That's what I'm going to place in. You can put plus negative 2, but I'm just going to put minus 2. It's the same thing. Then you add 2 on both sides, add 2 on both sides. You get x equals 2. You're done. You did it. 2 equals, and 2 comma negative 2 is the solution to that system. Describe the graph of the following equations. Describe the graph. So this, again, remember, this will be multiple choice. So this is linear, and it goes up from left to right. The slope is 6, and the y-intercept is 10. That's where it crosses the y. Remember, now b is nonlinear. And just say it's nonlinear, it's not a straight line. The exponent is next to the variable. If you really want to say something here, the slope is not constant. The slope is not constant, but nonlinear is good enough. If they ask you which one is nonlinear, then you have to pick D. So now this one is y equals negative 3x. Remember, this one is a direct variation. It is a linear function, linear. And it goes through 0, 0. You could even say something that it is a negative slope, goes down from left to right. And just let me, all right, there we go. And that's it. All right, solve the system algebraically. So here we go again. They're both equal to a single variable, so I'm just going to take this one and put it in for them. So I'm just going to rewrite it. X minus 5 equals negative x plus 10. And I'm going to get those x's together, bringing the smaller to the larger. That's what I always try to do. 2x minus 5 equals 10. Plus 5 on both sides, plus 5 on both sides. Bring that x down. That 2x equals 15. And you divide by 2, divide by 2. X is not a whole number. It's 7.5. Then I'm going to use the top equation, y equals x minus 5. And I'm going to substitute the 7.5 in. And I am going to get 2.5. So my solution to this system is 7.5, 2.5. Congratulations. All right, number 14, solve the system algebraically. Guess what? There's nothing that cancels. So there's a couple of different ways that you could do this. I see that I want to go after the x's, so I'm just going to multiply by 2 to try to make that negative 3x a negative 6x. And as long as I do that, yeah, I'm going to cancel the x's. So this equals 18, 2 times 9. Don't forget to do that, 2 times 9. The x's cancel. So now you have 12x minus 2x, which is 10. I'm sorry, 12y minus 2y equals 10y equals 54, 36 plus 18. Then you divide by 10, divide by 10. Y equals 5.4. It's a little annoying, but it's okay. Then I took the bottom equation and I'm going to put 6x plus, remember my y is 5.4, 12 times 5.4 equals 36. Then I'm going to have 6x plus 64.8 is 12 times 5.4 equals 36. Then you subtract 64.8, subtract 64.8, and this cancels here. You have 6x equals negative 28.8. And divide by 6, divide by 6. X equals negative 4.8. So your solution is negative 4.8 and 5.4. Ooh, that's bad. So you would never know that if you were graphing it. So solving it algebraically sometimes gives you that number with the decimals, then when it's not a whole number. This is the solution to these two lines, and basically it's asking what is the possible solution. It is not, the solution is not like whole number. The x coordinate is not a whole number. The y coordinate is not a whole number. So we're going to jump 1, 2, 3, and then go half. So it's 3.5, and then you go up 1.5. So it's 3.5, 1.5. This one, whenever you're comparing companies, you're basically going to put a nice equal sign in the middle and then put company A and company B on either side. So company A says charges a one-time fee of $40 and a rental fee of $25 per month. So this is Y equals, remember Y is the total cost. All right, 25 per month is this, and then the one-time fee of $40. Company B just charges $30 per month with no other fees, so it's Y equals 30x. Just like you have them when you substitute, you kind of just circle this one, circle this, and put it in for the other Y. That's basically what you would do. This is just like a substitution problem. So you would write 30x equals 25x plus 40. Or the other way around. You could have 25x plus 40 equals 30x. It does not matter. All right, just remember you put an equal sign in the middle, and that's it. You lose the y's, and it's 30x equals 25x plus 40. This is comparing two companies. And when you solve for x, you're going to solve for when they would cost the same. So number 17, another one of these that and nothing cancels. Negative 4x and negative 3x, they don't cancel. 4y and a positive y, that doesn't cancel. So what I did was I multiplied by negative 4 on the bottom because I want to try to cancel out the y's. And when I multiply by negative 4, and negative times a negative, that is a plus 12x. And negative 4 times positive y is a negative 4y. That's what I wanted to do. And negative 4 times 15 is negative 60. I'm going to rewrite that top equation because it's all the way up there and I get a little confused every time I don't see them right above one another, above and below, just like this. So I have 12x minus 4x. So that's 12x minus 4x, and you get 8x. This cancels, and you get 56. And it's a negative 56. And you divide by 8. X equals negative 7. And I don't know which equation it looks easier, but I'm just going to go with the bottom one because remember I have to solve for y, so I'm just going to put negative 3x plus y equals 15. So my x is negative 7, so I'm going to substitute that in, and there it is. So this is negative times the negative is 21 plus y equals 15. And that's exactly why I picked the bottom one, because now I don't have to do anything else. This is negative 6. So my solution for this one is negative 7, which is the x, negative 6. And that's about that. All right, what does infinitely many solutions look like on a graphed coordinate grid? It looks like 2 lines. Or maybe you should say one line, graphed on top of each other. Looks like one line, but it's really 2. What is the solution of a system that that are graphed as parallel lines? If they're parallel lines, it has no solution. They will never meet, they will never intersect, but that's all you have to say about that. What is the y-intercept? Ooh, yeah, that's good. What is the y-intercept of this line? And they don't give you the equation, but they give you some points. Y-intercept is 8. Right? When x is 0, and you could just go like right here, x is 0, 0, 8 would be right here. Let's say. So that's 0, 8. So 8 is the y-intercept. Anytime x is 0, the other number is the y-intercept. 19. Is there a solution? Yes. The lines are not parallel. They will intersect. Remember, all it has to be, all the 2 lines have to have is different slopes, and they'll intersect. They just intersect off this coordinate grid. They're not intersecting on the graph itself, but they will intersect somewhere here. Number 20, write a linear function that is parallel to y equals 4x minus 10. So the slope is 4. Remember, for lines to be parallel, parallel lines have equal slopes. So whatever you write, it has to have 4x in it. Y equals 4x, or something like y equals 4x plus 2. You cannot have the same line, y equals 4x minus 10. Favorite food? Cheeseburger, definitely. Do you like roller coasters? You will fail. if you say no. So we say yes. We like roller coasters. Number 21. A little bit difficult, but just remember, just go through and underline first. On the first day of this is the first day of drama sales. The school sold 5 senior tickets and 10 child tickets for a total of $80. The second day, they're talking about 2 different days, they sold 3 senior tickets and 2 child tickets for a total of $24. Find the price of a child ticket, price, child ticket, and find the price of a senior ticket, price of a senior ticket. Good. So, the first day, we're going to put the first day here. Put the first day here. First day. All right, we are going to put the 5 senior tickets, 5S. So you make a key and put S as senior. If you could read that, and then C equals child. All right, so it's 5S plus 10C for 10 child tickets right here, and then the total was $80. Now, second day. We have second day is 3 senior tickets and 2 child tickets equals 24. So now we still have to, I don't know why I drew that line. We still have to get one of these to cancel, and I am going to go for the C's. All right, so I want to make this 2C a negative 10. So to do that, I have to multiply by negative 5. But I have to do the whole thing. So this becomes negative 15S. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10C. And negative 5 times 24 is negative 120. Then I'm going to rewrite the top equation because I don't like how far away it is. And I can now see what is going on. Now I can draw that line, and this cancels. Now you have negative 10S equals negative 40. And you divide by negative 10, divide by negative 10, and S equals 4. And that is the senior ticket. All right, so now you go and pick an equation from the top that you feel is easier. I'm just going to go with the bottom one, the 3S plus 2C. C equals 24. And my S is 4, so I'm just going to put the 4 in, plus 2C equals 24. Then you get 12 plus 2C equals 24, minus 12 on both sides, minus 12 on both sides. You get 2C equals 12. You divide by 2. You get C equals 6. So child ticket, $6. Senior ticket, $4. And that's about it. Number 22, solve graphically. No matter how many times we go over this, people still can't get it. Remember the y equals mx plus b. This is 2 over 1. That's the slope. And this is the y-intercept. You get negative 6. I'm going to graph that. I'm going to start at negative 6. I'm going to put my arrows up and to the right. So I have up and to the right, up and to the right, just like that. Just like that. And then down and to the left one. So I'm going to draw my line just like this. I'm going to remember to put arrows, and I'm also going to remember to put the equation on that line. Now, I have a slope of 1 over 1, and a y-intercept of -2. So my rise and run is 1 over 1. I start at -2, and I just go like this, up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1. And you see how easy it is to graph those points, down 1 to the left, down 1 to the left, and you just keep on going like that. When you do finish putting the points on the lines, hopefully use a ruler, not like me. Y equals x minus 2. The solution is right here. This is the solution right there. So you can see it. And the solution is 4, 2. Number 23, solve for the solution right here. I'm going to use substitution because it is the easiest to do right here. So you have 10 times 2x plus 5 as my y equals 5x plus 20. I'm going to do distributive property. You have 20x plus 50 equals 5x plus 20. You subtract the 5x from each side because you bring the smaller x over to the larger x. You have 15x plus 50 equals 20. Subtract 50 on both sides. Subtract 50 on both sides. You get 15x equals -30. Divide by 15. Sorry, I'm going over the bottom part of that, and it is -2. X is -2. I'm going to use that first one, the first equation, y equals 2 times -2 plus 5. 2 times -2 is y equals -4 plus 5. Y equals 1. So my solution is -2, 1. Solve for the solution to the system. They cancel. You have 8x equals 8. Right? Yes. And divide by 8, x equals 1. There's a lot of these questions on here. Yeah, I'm going to pick the bottom one. You have 2 times 1 plus 8y equals 20. So we're just going to go 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 8y equals 20. Minus 2 on both sides. Minus 2 on both sides. You get 8y equals 18. Then you divide by 8. Divide by 8. Y equals 2.25. That's it. Number 25. This is a difficult one, so I'm just going to put 3h here and j plus 2 because these are rectangles and the opposite sides are the same. So we're just going to make an equation for both. And it says that rectangle P has a perimeter of 28. So I'm going to put 28 here. And rectangle Q has 50. So I'm going to put it here. So you add up all the sides. So I'm going to put J plus 2 plus J plus 2 plus 3H plus 3H equals 50. And I'm going to solve that. I'm going to combine like terms. So when I combine like terms, I'm combining the two J's just like this, and I'm going to combine the 3H and the 3H, and I'm going to combine the 2 and the 2. So it's J plus J is 2J. And then 3H plus 3H is 6H. And then 2 plus 2 is 4. And that all equals 50. Then I'm going to subtract by 4 because I'm going to get 2J plus 6H equals 46. And that's an equation with two different variables, and the numbers on the 46 is on one side. So I don't have to worry about that. All right. So now this was Q. So now I'm going to set up an equation for P. So now I have J plus 5 plus J plus 5 plus H equals 28. So again, I'm going to combine like terms, the J and the J, the 5 and the 5, the H and the H. So I did the j's first over here. So I'm going to do the j's again. So that's 2j plus h is 2h. And that's 5 plus 5 is 10. Okay. And equals 28. Subtract 10 on both sides. 2j plus 2h equals 18. So now I have two equations. I have this one and I have this one. And that is going to make up my system. So I'm just going to move down here and I am going to put them right on top of each other. 2j plus 6h equals 46. 2j plus 2h equals 18. And I'm going to multiply by -1 on the bottom. I'm going to get -2j minus 2h equals -18. I'm going to rewrite the top one, 2j plus 6h equals 46. So this cancels. You get 4h equals 28. Divide by 4, divide by 4, and you get h equals 7. Then I'm going to substitute back into the equation, maybe this one, the bottom one right here. So it's 2j plus 6 times 7 equals 46. And I'm going to solve for j. This is 42 equals 46. You minus 42 on both sides. 2j equals 4. And you divide by 2, and j equals 2. So h equals 7 and j equals 2. Okay, so we're going to solve this graphically again. Yeah, and you get the slope of a half and y-intercept of -5. You go up and to the right. So you start at -5 and you go up 1 to the right 2, up 1 to the right 2, up 1 to the right 2, and same thing all the way. Down 1 to the left, down 1 to the left, down 1 to the left, and you keep on going until you can't go anymore. Down 1 to the left. And you're going to draw a straight or possibly straight line right there, just like that. Put the equation on the line, put the arrows there, y equals 1/2 x. And as I'm writing this, I'm checking that it crosses at -5 and it's a positive slope. Remember, this is a negative slope. Down and to the right. -2 is the y-intercept. So your -2, instead of going, well, go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and to the right 2 is right here. You can't go down at 5 and to the right 2 again. You have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and to the left 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and to the left 2. And that is basically all that you could do. And you notice that this one does not land on an exact point with whole numbers. Kind of lands right here of some sort. So it could be like a little bit down. It's something like this is, and this solution is like an approximation. So I'm going to say it's 1. It's 1, and it could be -4 or -4.5. So something like that right here. It won't happen like that on the quiz, on the test, but that's the solution. All right, so the most difficult question on here is this one. I'm going to underline bus and 42 students and teachers. Then I'm going to underline van and 14 students and teachers. And there are 4 more buses than vans. So I'm going to have my key is bus and V equals van. And since there are 4 more buses than vans, V plus 4 will equal the number of buses. So let me just put down together an equation. You have 42 students and teachers on each bus. Then you have 14 students and teachers on each van. Altogether, there's 392 of those students. Then you could put B equals B plus 4. When you circle this right here, you substitute that in, and I'm going to go right over here, 42 V plus 4. So when you substitute that B in, it's V plus 4 plus 14V equals 392. Then I have 42, then I'm going to do distributive property. You have 42V plus 168 plus 14V equals 392. Combine like terms. You have 56V plus 168 equals 392. Subtract 168 on both sides. This cancels. You have 56V equals 224. You divide by 56. Divide by 56. You get V equals 4. Then you substitute back into B equals V plus 4. You get B equals 4 plus 4, and that's 8. So you have 8 buses. So it's 8 times 42, 336, and 4 vans. 4 times 14 is 56. So the amount of people, students on buses, is 336, and students, teachers on vans is 56. And that's it.